were to start. It was one of the biggest we had ever seen. And now you look, 6 of them have been filled. By my math, Schefter, that's 60% of the coaching carousel. These are the ones that remain open: Bills, Browns, Cardinals, Raiders. Give me the latest on these jobs, starting with Las Vegas.
They have Joe Brady talking to them today about their head coaching job. They met with Brian Daboll, or at least spoke to Brian Daboll on Saturday, the Giants head coach. They're also meeting with Davis Webb, the Broncos pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach today. But Joe Brady is meeting with Raiders officials today. He's also in play in Buffalo if we could see whether or not he gets that job, one of those jobs. As for the aforementioned Buffalo Bills, they've really gone through a list of candidates here that included Philip Rivers, who's decided to remain at the high school level, where his son's going to be one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the country this year, wants to coach his son in his last year of high school football, and so he's pulled out of the Buffalo Bills head coaching search after having a productive meeting, and maybe one day Philip Rivers will return to the NFL. Meanwhile, the Arizona Cardinals are scheduled to meet again with the Rams offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur. He will get in there later today to meet with them. That'll be a second interview with Arizona. The Rams were eliminated yesterday. The Cardinals also talking with Anthony Weaver, the former Dolphins defensive coordinator. And as for the Cleveland Browns, they essentially were told by Grant Udinski, the Jaguars offensive coordinator, that he's pulling out today. So here's your list of Cleveland candidates as we speak, really the 4 finalists. It certainly sounds like it's down to 2. Jim Schwartz, their current defensive coordinator, and Nate Scheelhaase, whom Browns officials are interviewing in L.A. today. And it wouldn't be a surprise if by the middle of this week the Cleveland Browns had a new head coach, and a lot of people think it could come down to Jim Schwartz or Nate Scheelhaase.
Look, it's a copycat league, right? You want to find that young coach coming off a tree like Sean McVay, who's done so much with Matt Stafford, getting that team to win a Super Bowl. You want the offense, Damian Woody. They've got a young quarterback situation there in Cleveland. So having said all that, with Adam said about the job, what do you make of this Cleveland coaching search?
Yeah, listen, it's a very, analytics-based type coaching search. There's a lot of things, a lot of nuance that goes into it. Ultimately, with the Cleveland Browns, it comes down to the quarterback. Listen, they had a great draft in 2025. A lot of those rookies went on to play, have productive years for the Cleveland Browns, but they got to solve the quarterback position. And you have to wonder and think, is that the next head coach going to be on the offensive side to try to get this quarterback situation resolved for the Cleveland Browns?
Well, if they do, sources have confirmed to ESPN they're going to have a Pro Bowl quarterback in Shedeur Sanders, who's now stepping in as an alternate because Drake May is playing in the big game, so he won't be able to have fun in the flag football game. But either way, 4 jobs left. It'll keep Adam Schefter busy. Damian Woody, great stuff the day after Championship Sunday here on SportsCenter. We are just getting started here in Florida on a Monday, a TGL Monday at that. Plenty to get to here on Sports. The top 4 in both scoring offense and scoring defense in the regular season. This will be the first such matchup in the Super Bowl since the 1970 merger. And that one is Adam Schefter and Damian Woody joining us now. Boy, we have a good matchup. Can't wait for this one in a couple of weeks in Santa Clara. And Schefter, I want to start with you. Here's Sam Darnold now, 5th team in his NFL career. He is headed to the Super Bowl. What's been the reaction around the league about this career resurgence to lead a team to the biggest game of the sport?
I think people are happy to see Sam Darnold salvage a situation like this, turn around his career. He's gone from the New York Jets to the Carolina Panthers to the San Francisco 49ers to the Minnesota Vikings to winding up leading the Seattle Seahawks to the Super Bowl with one of the great games in conference championship game history. Played just absolutely fantastic yesterday. This will be his first Super Bowl, and who would have thought that of the great quarterback class from 2018 that included Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield, that the first quarterback in that draft class to go to the Super Bowl would be none other than Sam Darnold. But he's been playing at an extremely high level the last 2 years, and I think people are happy that a quarterback could fight through as much adversity as he's been through, as many teams that didn't want him, to now become a staple in Seattle and now become a Super Bowl quarterback.
Yeah, and this resurrection of his career that we saw last year in Minnesota and in some of those postseason games, Damian Woody, to be fair, he just didn't play well in the biggest spots. No longer the case after what we saw yesterday. So having said that, what does he need to do against the Patriots to have success?
Yeah, listen, I think the Patriots game plan is going to be make it a one-dimensional game and force Sam Darnold to beat him again. We've seen Sam Darnold in the regular season. He had 14 interceptions, second most in his career. And so, although Sam Darnold has performed he was absolutely phenomenal in the NFC Championship game against the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Patriots are going to say, you know what, we're going to try to take away the run game with Kenneth Walker III, and we're going to make you do it. And so, once again, it's going to be called upon for Sam Darnold to go out there and play his best against a very good Patriots defense.
Yeah, and look, that's the NFC side of it. Over on the AFC, Schefter, you've got Drake May, his second season in the league. You've got Mike Vrabel, first year's Patriots head coach. They're headed to their 12th. What strikes you about how the Patriots got to this point?
Well, it's one of the great turnarounds in recent history. The last time a team turned around a season like this, it might have been the 2001 Patriots, where they had 5 wins or fewer and then went on to reach the Super Bowl. But that's, again, the level that New England is playing at. Mike Vrabel's turned it around. Think about it this way. In each of the past 2 regular seasons, the New England Patriots won exactly 4 games. 4 games in 2024, 4 games in 2025, and if somehow they can find a way to beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, they will have won 4 games in this postseason alone. That tells you exactly how far this team has come to go from being one of the worst teams in all of football to now having a chance to be the best.
Which sounds funny that in the same sentence we're talking about a team in one of the great turnarounds, this being their 12th Super Bowl after the dominating run with Tom Brady and what they did with Belichick in those years. But such is the case in the NFL. It can go south in a quickly. They're back now among the elite. And speaking of elite, Damian Woody, Drake May's faced 3 top 5 defenses in the postseason. Hasn't put up particularly good numbers, but it hasn't mattered, to be fair. They've won the games. Can they follow that same script against the Seahawks and have it still work?
Yeah, listen, I think they're going to have to put up more offense in this game. And we know the Seahawks have one of the best defenses in the National Football League as well. And I think if you're Drake May and company, it's going to start with protection and taking care of the football. We saw it throughout this postseason where you know, when you look at this Patriots offense, that's what's kind of hurt them a little bit is the fact that the protection, particularly on the left side with the rookie's left side of the offensive line, has had his problem protecting Drake May. And Drake May himself had issues protecting the football, giving away some fumbles. So it starts there, but they're going to rely on what Drake May has done throughout the regular season, and that's push the ball down the field. I think when the opportunities present itself, Drake May has been one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, pushing the ball down the field, and I think that's what he's going to do in the Super Bowl.
And say this for the Patriots. They know they've got a second-year quarterback. They know they've got a young quarterback that's going to be a factor, if not the favorite for the MVP. When he was struggling, it's been the defense and Mike Vrabel that stepped up to get him to this point. Mike Vrabel, Schefter, as I said, first-year head coach. We were doing this with him last year at a coaching